I mean, the new record is far, far different than anything we've done. Different kinds of instruments,
Uh-huh.
4 different production teams, different kinds of songs. I mean, where does that come from?
Madness. um, this came from I mean, I'm not really sure where it came from, but it probably came from just the desire to do something different, you know. We've been together a long time now. And there was a strong feeling among all of us which is why we took so much, I think we took a good year off before I even started this record. I did nothing, just sort of wander around. And it was good for me. And they've all been busy, meeting the Heartbreakers. So we all wanted to do something if you're going to stay together for 10 years, you know, this is going to be 9 this year. So it's like, if you're going to really put that much time into the same unit, then we're kind of trying to butt our heads to get into somewhere else, you know, and just really for the fun of it, for no other reason, just to keep ourselves interested. I don't think there's enough experimentation going on, especially like in the mainstream of music these days, and it's in this country anyway. There's not a lot of people willing to take many risks. Or well, it wasn't really as noble as that. My intent, though, to answer your question, was just to really to just move on.
Yeah. So it was consciously looking for something different.
Yeah, and it was the first time. We've always been kind of a closed unit. We've never had a lot of people playing on purpose, because when we formed this group in mid-70s, we didn't want a band that had session players, and we want an identity that when you hear this, you know that's Stan playing the drums. So I stuck to that, but that's just, you know, and it also grew out of everyone playing with different sessions and stuff. That just let's have some people around for more input that might, you know, turn us in a different direction. And it was a lot of fun, and you know, you pay more attention when there's someone around that you're not. With us, it's hard to get excited about, you know, someone you've been with every hour for a few years. So it was fun. It was a long project, really one I wouldn't care to do again, but I'm glad I did it.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it wasn't the feeling on the other members. They didn't feel that, Dave Stewart coming in to play bass parts, like, well, maybe I'm being pushed aside, or how it's saying, or
because there's always something for everyone to do, and we're well past, you know, worrying about I played the bass or he did, you know. Right. We're there to make a record the quickest way we can,
right.
And the best. But usually the instances like where I think that Dave played the bass on the one side, that's because he was there before everybody else,
right.
You know. So we were writing that song in my bedroom, and we went downstairs and just started it,
right.
With who was there.
Right.
So, but I think, you know, actually when Howie came walking in, our bass player, the song was playing, we were doing vocals, and he took him by the arm as the track was going, just walked him up to the mic and sing, you know. It ain't nothing to me. And he had to let it go around a few times, because that was actually the first time he was hearing the song.
Oh, is that really how that song kind of evolved?
It was very quick, yeah. We started moving with a few musicians and added them as they came in the door.
I had a chance to talk to Dave yesterday on the phone, and
yeah.
I seen that down. So, I mean, I read that right before Long After Dark, you said that you wanted to, actively pursue different areas, and if need be, bring in other musicians and players.
Yeah.
And this is basically
what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the idea for this album about the time I finished the last one, really. It's been a long time coming. So when I first had kind of the original seed of an idea for this thing, and then I spent the rest of the time putting it together.
Right.
So here we are today, years later.
So did you spend a lot of time listening this last year? I mean, to the.
Not to the radio.
No.
Not the last year. The one before I did. I took off, and I really did. I wasn't aware of what was going on in music at all, I don't think, for about a year there. I drifted off into my own land, you know. Everyone went on different tours and left town. It was the first time we'd been off the road, you know, in a long time, really, to say we're off and we're not going back. And it was kind of like coming back from Nam, you know, how I had to readjust to life, and you know, no one's coming to pick you up at 4. Things like, what are we going to do tonight? Nothing. What do you mean? And so, but then I started writing the songs. I took a trip to the South, and
South
America, yeah, not South America. No. How do you say that? Southern U.S. I guess. And then I got some ideas and came back and had a great time writing. And then I decided I wanted to build a studio in my house, and so I could experiment without the pressures of, you know, 200 an hour or you know, whether REO has the studio booked or whatever. So that proved to be a good thing because it freed us up a lot and let us play with it more. It took me 4 months though to build it. So then there went half a year right there just into. But it was nice because by the time we were ready to start, I had a lot of songs done.
You did?
Yeah, I did a lot more than I had to do, I think. I spent a lot of time, you know, finishing another 6 that are on the album, but I'm sure that, you know, in over a period of time, all that stuff will come out, you know, for the most part. But
can you talk a little bit about your studio? What kind of board and what you have?
it's a Trident board from England, and it started out to be a 24-track studio, and then Dave Stewart showed up, and I needed a lot more tracks, and so we wound up syncing another 24, so we had 48, and it's a pretty elaborate studio, really, for a home studio. It's the whole bottom floor of my house. And we cut live there. We cut nearly all the instruments. We even cut cellos there. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's great.
It's a great live room for live. It's real nice because there's always the drum sounds up. All the sounds are always up. So if you want to play, it's just a matter of bringing up the faders.
Right.
I had a great engineer, this guy, Don Smith, who worked with me before. Stop dragging my heart around and mix of that. That's where we first met him, and so he actually built the place for me, designed it, and suffered through every session of the album. And now he's with Dave down there, suffering more. But
Dave Stewart's recording it?
Huh?
Dave Stewart?
Yeah, I think I don't know where they are, but they're recording or something, mastering or something. So it was. Let me see what else.
So does it have the usual array of outboard stuff? I mean, you have a lot of
all kinds of outboard stuff.
Could you just comment over some of the main things you used?
Well, I used all the lexicon, the normal stuff. You know, I don't know the numbers. I'm not very good at remembering, but there's a great blue echo unit that's lexicon. No, there's a prime time too, but there's another one that's blue that has a whole bunch of chambers in it that you kind of design the size of the room and everything.
Oh, right.
That's great. And then I brought an old EMT over from Germany, and that thing's, you know, it's a tube unit. And then we were real echo nuts, you know. So I had a lot of echoes there. I had all those. I had one rigged in the shower of the studio that's never been used. Brand new shower's never been turned on because they put a speaker in it immediately. And then I got the Capitol Records has these great live chambers in the basement of their building. I think there's 7 of them. You know, they're just great chambers. It's like when Frank made a lot of records. And it's just this. They're live chambers, and so I got the phone company to rig up a line from Capitol to my house, and within a split second, you know, we could hit the drum, and it'd go down the phone line, and the echo would come back.
Kidding.
No, I mixed a lot of the records that way with the capital echo coming over the phone lines.
Your house in Florida, right?
No. This is the one
Outside
in the hills of
okay.
kind of.
And then you rigged it up over the
It's
capital over
15 miles away.
Pretty unbelievable. That's amazing.
And so, yeah, that was Don's idea. And it worked. It really worked. You just call up and say, Chamber 4, and you listen to that, and you call back, and give me 6, give me 6. Blew my mind.
Wow,
And the phone company.
So you basically did the record at your studio?
Nearly everything. There was one track, The Best of Everything, that was done at Village Recording. And then that was one that I'd done actually before we started this album. It was already done. And let's see, except for a few things we did at Sunset Sound that we went on that day. And then we did, I did about 5 remixes, I guess, at the Village because I ran out of faders. I had in my house the Trident. I wound up bringing, it's a Series 80, I think. It's a pretty big board. And then I wound up bringing in a computer mix down deal, like where I had another set of Neve faders that sat in front of the board. And we hooked all that to the computer for mixing. So we had to automate it because things like Don't Come Around Here No More was impossible, even with 5 hands, to mix it because the wrong bunch of faders coming up changed the whole song because there was a lot of ways to go.
Right.
So even then with the computer, it got wild. So I went to Village to this new room they built, and I ran out of faders there. And they had to bring in another half a Neve console. It was a real elaborate job, but we got through it somehow.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the most elaborate recording that you've ever made in terms of
Yeah, because I was really out to try some things, you know. And leaving me at home with one. You know, I always had a lot of ideas, a lot of quotes, or you just hear things that you'd never heard before. Right. And I wanted to find some kind of sound.
Mm-hmm. Someone in the band was interested in trying new.
Oh yeah, they were very supportive of what we were doing. I think sometimes. Hey, Alex.
Hi, can we get you anything? Did you want to get?
Oh, fine,
cash?
A little cash.
Cash. 2 cashes to go.
You know, they were supportive. At times they'd look at me a little funny.
I mean, like the C-Tog, what was the on it?
They liked that. They weren't there when I did that. That was like me and Dave were there with Jimmy Einstein when we did that. And then when they heard it, they liked it. I remember staying here, and it was one of the first supporters of going, I really like this song or something.
Wasn't that like, didn't Dave basically have that idea already? He had to sit right down in some rough tracks?
Well, I didn't have it down yet, but he'd done a little cassette where he had the sitar sound and just kind of the groove in the sitar. And he showed me that. And I said, yeah, I can hear this. And then we just sat down on a bench, and in about an hour it was done.
Really?
The song was done.
It's
I only did one
song.
take of the vocal.
Did you really?
That's the only time I've ever sang that song.
Was that pretty much how you did most of the vocals?
Pretty much, because I'm not very good at doing them after I've sang them once or twice. I don't. It's real work after that for me to go back and recreate it again, because I don't know why, but it's a real pain because the engineers don't usually get a chance to get much of a sound before I do the take. Now they're real aware of that and ready for me.
Right.
But it's the same with the band even. Usually it actually, I know everyone says that probably, but it's true. I mean, it's either the first, second take, and if it don't happen then, we've got to change songs or just come back another day, because no one, it'll be good, but sometimes it's too good, or it's like, they know it, they're real good players, these guys, and they start improving it immediately, and I like it best usually. The real fire is there before they'd even know exactly what's coming next.
So I mean, you go for a real feel then, as opposed to like an absolute
Feel is really all there is to it. I mean, because if you don't get the feel, there's nothing you can do with the sound. You know, the truth is.
When you present them with demos, is there a basic feel, an underlying kind of a tempo or thing that's happening when you show it to them?
Sometimes, most times in this record, the demos were either the track, because there weren't many demos. I didn't have a lot of demos because I was just doing them on a 24 track.
Oh.
So if I had an idea, well, I take that back. Sometimes I would just play acoustic into a ghetto blaster and sing, and I'd play them now, and I'd say I want to be kind of like this, and we'd just do it a few times. And then a lot of these songs went from ballads to up-tempo things to
really?
let's play it flamenco to just, yeah, I think every song was pretty well stirred around a lot. But usually it was the first version that we came back to.
Huh. So, I read once where you said that Leon Russell had taught you about the particular kind of voice that you have is like you should get up there and it should be loud in the first take, and if you pull it back, people are going to kind of listen a little bit more closely. Because I mean, your pitch is not the type of voice you have. It's not a Steve Perry or a Blue Graham voice. You know, it's that emotional thing that's hard to sometimes put on tape without.
Yeah, it is hard because you have to. Well, what I try to do is just make what I'm singing believable, and that usually goes a long way. So. But no, we don't have a lot of trouble. The voice is usually the easiest thing for us to do because I know really well what or I don't know really well. You know what I mean? So I just go and do it, and that's it. And these guys are great. You know, that Don Smith and Shelley Yakis. They've recorded me so long that we don't usually miss.
So I mean, they're important in terms of the Tom Petty sound, what goes on record. And Jimmy is important.
Yeah, immensely. Because it's like someone was asking me the other day about all the producers. You know, I said the funny thing is if you were there, it'd be hard to tell who was producer at all because there's no one. It's a bunch of old dogs down there. You know, it's like nobody's really gonna act like a producer. You know, or they just get laughed at. You know, you got like there's just a way. It's a hard chain of command to explain, but it works. So.
Right. But you always take an active part in the.
Oh yeah, very active part. I always have. More active than I really wanted to be on this one. I started this one out alone, you know, and it just got to be like lugging bricks around. It's a lot more work than I wanted to do.
Could you actually engineer a record? I mean, can you sit down and do hands?
Yeah, I can do engineering and stuff. I probably wouldn't get a lot of work. Michael's a real good engineer, excellent engineer. And actually, Michael did the Mary's New Car. There wasn't an engineer there when we did that. Don later mixed it for us, you know. But no, Michael does things at his house. He has an 8-track studio at his house that make us all pale with shame. He's real good with those things.
So is the Don't Come Around Here No More, is that the first single?
Yeah.
So I mean, if that happens, that'd be like the first song since the box tops Cry Like a Baby with the sitar.
Maybe.
Or Joe South again, people play.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, were the Beatles an influence on you? I mean, I hear a lot.
Obviously.
Lennon.
No, I still like the Beatles. So had to.
Yeah. You use a lot of drum machines?
Not a lot.
No.
Sometimes we cut tracks with them, but we always wind up overdubbing either like just bringing them to the back of the mix or getting rid of them completely. I found them handy when I was trying to write and Stan was out of town or there was nobody around. And I had 1 or 2 tracks where I did have it cut to the machine and he'd just come in and play his drums to it. And so after he did that, we usually, because they sound good, but there's something, it's almost harder to make one of those sound live than to just go ahead and have the drummer. You you can do it.
And for what you do, I mean, you're talking about the whole feel thing. It's an unforgiving
Yeah.
kind of a musician, you know.
Yeah, if it felt great, then we'd leave it in the track, but usually we wound up back without the track.
Yeah.
Mike's very good with those things. He can work wonders with them, but it's like I say, we weren't religious about it, or Stan wasn't hung up about it, but it was usually quicker to just go ahead and put the live drums on to deal with it.
Is this the first time you've used horns?
The first time, yeah, I think on the first album I used a couple of saxophones in the back of Hometown Blues somewhere, but this was the first time I got into it, you know, and really, and I don't know a thing about them, is what's funny, and I did all these horn arrangements.
You did the horn arrangements?
All but one. Or Dave had a hand in a lot of the horns. But it was funny, you know, me whistling things for the horn players. Had some great horn players, fortunately, so they'd go, okay, play it back.
Yeah. So then it was writing a song and then thinking maybe horns would sound good on it, as opposed to, well, I'm going to write a song and the horns are going to play on this.
Yeah, I don't think that. I usually just try to write a song first, usually with acoustic guitar, piano. And the rule I tried to live by with this was, like, I knew I was going to do a lot of playing around with the songs, you know, and that in order to do that, the songs had to be very strong. You know, they had to work, whether I was playing them alone or when I was playing them with an orchestra, they had to work. And that took a little time, you know, to weed it down to that. And then that was one of the saner things we did, was because we were prepared there, that we knew we had songs. Then I said, okay, now I can whack it out, because I can always back up. So there was a lot of times when I went real far, a lot further than what came on the record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'd go, no, I've got to reel this in now because I'm losing the song. So, I forgot what question.
Yeah, no, just tailoring songs with horns.
Yeah, it wasn't, I did know that I wanted to try some things, because when I heard the Robbie Robertson thing was the first thing done.
That was the first song done?
Well, it was actually done a year or two ago for this movie, The King of Comedy. And then when we did it, the record companies got into a squabble between, I think it was Warner's and MCA, and didn't want to give them permission to have my track, you know.
Really?
Yeah, well, since then it's a different MCA, so I don't want to slag them, because it's a whole different set of people. But, so they wouldn't let them use the song, and I liked it a lot, you know, and I felt bad for Robbie, you know, and I said, well, I'll use it, you know, and I took it back, and I didn't think about it, and then I was under this Southern album, you know, that I was working on. I was trying to use basically Southern music styles, you know, in some way, or just get that overall feeling. And I played it to Nick Lowe one night on the road, and Nick started jumping around and really liked it. And he was saying, you know, it's a really Southern song, and so I said, yeah, it is.
So how did you meet Robbie?
He just called up and wanted me to give him a song, you know, for when he started doing that soundtrack. That's how I met him. And then I sent that song over to him, and he called me back, and he was into it, and so then we got together and did a little editing and this and that, and then Robbie had the idea to, you know, do the horn stuff. And then when I heard it, I just loved it. You know? And I said, it's a new sound, because it's really just the Heartbreakers playing a live track, the five of them, but the other people really enhanced what was going on.
Right. So you had a couple guys from the band play.
Yeah.
What is Robbie doing now?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in some time. I think he was, when I was at the Village, I think he was next door producing some new group, but I don't know who they are.
Is he one of those people that you listen to?
Oh, sure. The band's one of my favorite groups. Yeah.
His I don't know, his musical posture seems to me sort of similar to yours.
He's very good, old Robbie. I like the way he does those soundtracks and the Carney, the music in that is just, you know, I don't even understand what he's doing.
Have you ever done any soundtrack stuff?
No, we never
I
have.
mean, I know they used American Girl and the
Oh yeah.
Fast Times, and that was a little different, though, I guess. It wasn't writing a song.
That was just something that was done.
Because I get that real kind of a thematic thing from a lot of your music, where I could picture the scene.
I'd like to do one, but it's everyone I know that does it. It turns into such a headache and such a chore. It's like making a lot of albums. You know, if it takes me this long to make an album, I'm not sure I can come through in time for a movie.
Yeah.
And I don't like the idea of putting songs on soundtracks with 100 groups. You know, and that's all. It seems very strange to me. I don't understand that at all in the least. Because if you've got something good, why are you putting it there with Sammy Hagar on some album here? I don't understand that.
Yeah. So basically, you had actually 4 different sets of production teams. I mean, you and Robbie, and you and Dave, you and Mike, and you and Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. But here's how it works. There weren't always that many people doing it. See, there was always me and Michael, just about all the time. That was the nucleus we started with.
Right.
And then when David showed up for a month or however long he was around, the two of us did a lot together. But Jimmy was there too. So Jimmy would maybe work on the track, and then we'd do the overdubs, and then Jimmy didn't show up again until the mix. Or because Jimmy was doing another album at the time. And Robbie came into the picture because Jimmy and I had already cut the track when I played it to Robbie, and then Robbie took the track we cut and finished it up.
I see.
So it was usually in stages. There was very rarely all of us standing there. Though sometimes maybe you had me and Campbell and Dave and Jimmy all at once and the mixing them. But
just wondering how you could have kept a continuity of sound with 4 different sets of ears hearing things.
well, we all mixed it at the same time, and it was all done in the same room and with the same rhythm section always. It was the Heartbreakers, it was always the rhythm section, so it never changed the basic sound very much.
Right.
But a lot of it had to do with Don Smith and Shelley Yakus, where they mixed it and got the echoes to be the same along a lot of the songs, so it all sounds
right. Yeah. It seems like before you go into record an album, something major turmoil affects you.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the price thing and the legal thing and the finger and the bass players leaving. I mean, just how did it has to affect in some way the writing or the approach or the feelings or.
Yeah, it does. It hasn't been that way so much lately. I think since I finished the last tour, life has been really rosy. Pretty much.
I'm not in the room, I'm invisible. Try to put that in their minds and think that.
Well, what do you mean?
No, I just gotta get the words there.
Well, but no, it's not always like that. I don't think breaking my hand was unfortunate. That happened really. I think that improved the album quite a bit.
Honestly?
Because it made me sit back and really take stock of it a little bit longer, and then Jimmy got freed up and gave me a lot more help with the mixing than he would have been able to do. And my perspective, I was too deep into this. My perspective was hurting because I'd been a year and a half making this thing, and I was trying to mix it down real quick to get it out for Christmas when I was supposed to originally deliver it. This is around October. And then, you know, like I missed on a mix that I've been working on for a long time. I wasn't trying to really cripple myself when I hit the wall. You know, I just backhanded the wall, but backhanded it wrong and broke all the bones in my hand, you know. But you can see it's still a little screwed up. But after, you know, the operation and all the therapy, it's fairly back to normal now. And it hurts. You know, I can play the guitar normally. In an hour or so starts to ache, you know. So that's going away, though. They say in another month or two it should be fairly normal. So I was lucky there. You know, that made me think a lot.
Well, that has to be pretty scary.
Yeah, it was very scary. It was very scary. It was real good for me. It calmed me down a lot. You know, I was getting a little wild.
You know, I mean, I can see you in the studio. I mean, I just know what kind of passion you have, and I can sense it through the music. I mean, I don't know you, but I mean, I would probably do something like you. I mean, I can understand that. Just, you know.
Well, the hand surgeon tells me 90% of all the broken hands is someone hitting something, frustration or anger. I don't know. It was like I wasn't even with anyone. I wasn't actually in the studio. I was walking up the stairs from the studio to my house, and I just hit the wall walking up the stairs because I, you know, missed a mix that I've been working on 7 days.
What song was it? Do you remember?
Rebels. Yeah, I remember well. A year on that song, and you know, a year on a song is not right. It started to burn my brain a little, and that and a lot of things were going on, and I just hit the wall, and as a matter of fact, Mickey Mouse's hand. You know, it's big. You're going to have to go to the hospital. And I was kept trying to work.
Really?
Yeah, and they're saying, and I couldn't put my hand down. And so they took me down, and then it got scary. But it was nice. I got a lot of letters from people all over the world, you know. And it had been a year or so since I'd really had any contact with any bands or any even been out in public, you know, really. And yeah, getting the letters was real touching, you know. It was real nice. It was encouraging, especially at that point of the album.
So you had done all the playing then. I mean, all the guitars.
Yeah, I did a little bit of guitar in the last stages. Like as soon as my hand was just starting to move a bit, I'm glad I did actually do one little overdub, but that was it. No, it was pretty pathetic trying to play.
So you actually had to sit down and then kind of
relearn. Yeah, therapy every hour for months.
Really?
Well, I couldn't move my fingers; they were bent like this, and they couldn't straighten unless they went like this.
Really?
But then I couldn't lift them or anything.
Did you have to wear a cast? Was like
Yeah.
a cast on it?
Yeah, but it was a real good surgeon. Took me out of the cast really early and put me in this kind of plastic splint where my fingers were always free. It's because the cast, you know, atrophies. The hardest thing was getting over the wrist. Just gets so stiff, and just moving my wrist. But now I can still only lift about 10 or 15 pounds with it. But I'm working on it all the time, and that's my.
That's important. Well, I just was working for a guitar player.
Yeah, it really makes you appreciate hitting a few chords.
Yeah. So, I mean, you mentioned that it actually did make you sense that it maybe made the album a little more special than it was.
I'm sure it did.
Do you think any of those other households that you went through, I mean, conceivably, I mean, Down the Torpedoes could have been what it was without, you know, the MCA thing, but maybe it was... I
mean, it must put an edge on things. It must. I hope that I don't have to go through a major disaster to make an album. It's always been, we never had any trouble getting into trouble. I think we can do anything and get into trouble.
Yeah.
But maybe that does put an edge on it. You know, I don't want to think that I have to, because the thing about that is people, you know, even my friends and stuff, when they're talking about that stuff, it's they remember it or something. It's like, yeah, it was great, you know, and it was all that, but going through those things is a real ordeal. You know, having to really live with it every day, with that sort of thing over your head is just, you know, I don't want it. I've had my fill of that, but I'm sure there'll be more. But it was good. It did calm me down quite a bit.
Won't be punching any more walls.
No, I haven't hit a wall since.
Are you Spike?
No, I'm not Spike. I'm not anybody in that. That's in that song. That was just like if you picture Spike, one of those fellas with the dog collar. It's just like trying to get into like what it'd be like if he went into an Alabama bar and his work was getting done.
Right.
I saw some of that sort of thing when I was down there the last time, and it's such an interesting culture clash because the farmer type or whatever. I mean, he's not only amused. He's got all these emotions. He's frightened by it. He's amused by it. But the most interesting was is that he's confused by it. It's like, well, why does this poor fellow have to wear leather in the middle of the day? It was like that when I was first, in high school and stuff, and growing long hair.
People saw you like that?
Well, when I first let my hair grow in the '60s, it was, it's a life-threatening situation down there. And now it's not probably not that bad, but they're still. I don't know. It's just like there's a little song about how you look at things, like how maybe on Santa Monica Boulevard you don't even raise an eyebrow, but there it would be like, what do you like?
Yeah.
You don't like anything. Why? Because he's in a different world. He doesn't understand what he's mad about.
So that the album title is just kind of looking at those various.
Yeah, roughly. I mean, I didn't want to write a book or a story or anything like that, or a full-length video, God forbid. I just wanted to, it was a good. I grew up there. All of us did, and there's all that music that came from there, and it would just look. It was a fun idea. I thought let's play with this music and give me something to start with, a place to work from, rather than have to write an album of love songs, which I just wasn't in the mood to do. And let's do it that way. And it was going to be a double album at one point, and then I trimmed it back because it was just too vast, getting into all the bluegrass and all the acoustic stuff, and it got real vast, But I trimmed it back, and I think that was a good decision. Because the other thing, it was going to take me another 6 months to finish it, and also it's just a little too much, I think, to get all at once.
Yeah. What did I don't want to dwell on it, but just what did the band think when you had broken your hand?
Wasn't a word of sympathy from one of them yet.
Really?
Not yet. I mean, all they'd say is stuff like, there's a really good guitar player in Venice, or you can still be the singer, but this means less money. Things like that. That's all they've had to say about it. Not a word of sympathy yet.
Probably won't be coming out of it.
Every day they found another guitar player. Brian Sutz was looking for a job. And do things like that.
At those moments when the band was going through all that, the records company stuff and this and that, I mean, there were points where, like, the guys in the band must have got fed up or disillusioned and said, I'm gone, or...
When was this?
I heard
the
that
record company stuff?
Yeah, that even, like, Stan had said, that I'm quitting. I mean, I don't know if this is true.
Yeah, well, sure, stuff like that happened.
Too.
Yeah, me and Stan, I think we go at it about once every 2 years. But, all that happened. For some reason, we're still together and we're still friends, really. I don't know why. I mean, we were all real dedicated. I think we still are. We're real proud of the group and want to play with each other. I still get excited, when everybody finally plugs up and plays. Really? It's a great group. Well, I don't play with them that often.
I guess
It really has been a long, you know, I mean, 6 weeks of track and I don't see them again. So I'm excited that we're going to rehearse. And they're really good. I don't know. I think that more than that, is we're really old friends.
Mm-hmm.
We were friends before we were a band.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask me, you know, how long will this go on now? You know, and we don't know. I read in the paper for months that we'd broken up about a year or two ago. You know, finally had to call everybody and find out. You know, it took forever to just get everybody to one place to say, no, I didn't break up.
Yeah.
Stan, did you break up? You know, no, but I heard Mike might have broke up. So well, let's call him. It was funny.
Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about the guitars that you're playing?
Sure.
I know you're a Rickenbacker man.
Yeah, I used a couple of Rickenbackers on this album, and 3 of them actually, 2 different 12 strings, and one is a blonde 12 string it's a hollow body. I guess it's about a 66 or mid 60s model that I've had a long time. It's really my favorite one. And another one that sounds great is this double neck one I got that's 6 and 12.
That's the picture of that on one of the albums.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great recording guitar. It's a little rough on the road because it's so heavy. And I never use it. I've tried it once and soon changed my ways. But it's a beautiful sounding guitar, the 6 string and the 12 string. And then I use this thing Michael came up with somewhere. It's another 60s. It's a 6 string. I guess it's like a John Lennon type solid body with 3 pickups, but it's not a 3/4 neck like most of them are. It's a full size neck, and it's got a real nice sound. And I use that in a Telecaster, normal standby.
What year is that?
It's not even a. Now that I think of it, it's not a real Telecaster. It was built by this guy Norman that runs Norm's Rare Guitar, and he built it and gave it to me. And I didn't really understand what it was, and I started to play it. And it's just, a real copy of an old Tele with all the old things in, but it's this great guitar. And then he made me another one. It wasn't nearly as good. Sorry, Norman. But
this is a newer instrument?
Well, I've had it a while. I think I got it around the Hard Promises tour, or Hard Promises album I did. I played it, everything. And I used that, and then I used 2 Gibson's acoustics a lot. One was a Dove that I must have had 15 years, and the other one's a J200 big one. And
you like the sound of Gibsons as opposed to like Martin's and acoustic sound?
yeah, predominantly I like the Gibson acoustic. I did use a Martin. I have a Martin 45 that I use sometimes when I was cutting live with the band because it has a pickup in it. And I could plug it in. The Gibsons, I had to mic them, so I usually had to either be in the booth or. But for the live stuff, I did use a Martin that sounded great.
You leave all your instruments stock, I mean, you don't do any changing around. Has that ever interested you at all?
No, I'm not much interested in instruments, really. I mean, I just think that there's good ones and bad ones. If I get one that's good, the last thing I want to do is have somebody go drilling on it and putting things into it, because I've never seen it make it any better. It always makes it worse.
Yeah.
Mike has, we have a lot of guitars for, I don't even know. There's trunks of them that Bugs already gets out, You show up for the tour and you go, oh yeah. But the really good ones, I think there's probably about 10 that we use a lot. And Mike plays, he got one of those, him and Howie goes, those pedal, that bends the B string thing when you push the neck. They both have those on Telecasters. And Howie played guitar too on the albums, and trailer you can hear it. And Michael's got one of those, and he basically played those, and
Played Les Pauls, isn't
there's a couple of Les Pauls, a white one and a gold top one that he used a lot. And Telecasters, we have lots of Telecasters. We have this one called the Red Dog that we've had since our first album.
Really?
That I've traded some guys some speakers for some more one time. And it's not a straight guitar. It's a Telecaster, but it has 3 humbucking pickups.
Oh, really?
I think it has 3. Yeah. No, I think it has 2, and then there's a Tele pickup in the back.
Yeah, very powerful.
And then it has a button I call the destruct button. That's this black button, and if you push it in, it overdrives everything. And we still use that guitar a lot.
Did you use it on this record?
Michael did. Yeah. Well, I don't know. He has so many guitars. He played a lot of different guitars.
Do you suggest, Michael, I think I hear a train sound here, try this guitar, or is it him saying, Tom, how about this?
He usually just does what he wants. I may hear a certain sound and say, let's go for this kind of sound, and then he'll come back with something wild. He's real good with his sounds and stuff. He played almost the whole album through this one amp.
Really?
It was amazing. It was the first time we used it. It was an Ampeg Rocket, I think.
Really?
It's an old tube amp with one speaker, I think, and one 12 or 15. And it's just this little Ampeg Rocket, it's called. And he used that on everything. I think nearly everything he played was through the Rocket. You know, he may have had other gadgets and outboard stuff on it, but the room sound was always out of that Rocket. It sounded great. We're trying to find another one now. It's really hard to find.
Did you use your Super Beagle?
Yeah, sometimes I did. And a lot of times I used a Fender Deluxe.
The grin amp?
Yeah, a brown one.
Oh, an old one.
Yeah, just about. I want a black one, you know. Stan's got a black one in Florida that I was playing down there that was amazing, but we never got it shipped back out here. I kept trying to talk him into bringing it out here, and it just never showed up. He's afraid I'll blow it up. But, yeah, it was really pretty simple. I played that. Sometimes I played an old white basement amp, too. That sounded good. I'd take maybe a Rockman split stereo with the white basement. Sounded great because it makes it real full. Rockmans are a little thin when you try to record them, but doing it in stereo with that big fat basement on the other side sounded real good.
Yeah. Can you just talk briefly about what kind of picks and strings you use?
I don't have any idea what kind of strings they are because Bugs just has always put them on. Maybe they're Ernie balls or something. I think they're Ernie balls. I see a lot of those packs. They're not light. I don't use real light strings. They're fairly not heavy but medium because I do a lot of open chord stuff. So my guitars are all set up almost like acoustic guitars where you can really bang them and they don't get out of control. Michael, I think for different guitars there's probably different gauge strings. I know I pick up some of his sometimes and they're ridiculous. And a lot of times he raises the frets a lot on some guitars where the frets are real too high for me. And Howie, all the bass just about was a Hofner Beatle bass, violin bass. I think he did one track with one of those black sticks, and the other one was a Fender. He had a Fender there, but most of the time he played that little Hofner bass. It sounded really good. It sounds almost like an upright bass sometimes.
So what happened with Ron Blair?
Oh, God. A long time ago. I don't know what happened with him. He just wanted to quit, basically. He wasn't mad at us, and we weren't mad at him, but I knew, over the period of the Hard Promises album, his interest was... I think he had a lot of personal problems going on, too, that didn't help, and he just was drifting away from us, you know. and a lot of times he wasn't even at the studio. You know, one of us would play the bass, you know, Michael, and then, you know, and that creates tension. And then we did the tour. It was a very long tour, and at the end of the tour, when it was going to all start up again, none of us had seen him for a couple of months, and then we just got a phone call one night but he was really nice about it. I always say amicable break. I really was, because it wasn't that we knew that he should be going. No one tried to keep him.
Yeah.
I'll say we didn't try to talk him out of it because we knew it was over. It was a shame because he was really good and he'd been our friend all that time. But when we got Howie, I think it added a lot. If you hear this album, you hear all the voices he sings.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great singer. And he's a good lead singer, too, I'm afraid. And
has any of the other band members ever sang lead on any songs?
no.
No,
I think they should, though, you know. It's probably about time.
I'd be interested for one song.
I'm sure they wouldn't mind. Stan can sing good, too. They could probably all get by. I don't know. I never heard Michael sing.
So it might be the Heartbreakers and Tom Petty, huh?
Yeah, if they have their way, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, I wish they would sing. It'd be a lot easier to get through a show. Having to sing every song's a drag for 2 hours.
Yeah. And you had your tonsils removed, didn't you?
Yeah, the middle of the
Another thing
tour.
before the Heart Promises drum, another thing you had to go through. I mean, that has to be
That
something
was,
to think
yeah.
about.
That was during what? The Damn the Torpedoes tour, the first part, right before Europe. 4 weeks later, I was back on stage in England.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't had much voice trouble since then. I got into some trouble here at the end of the last tour. The tour had been a piece of cake, and then I got to LA for 4 shows at the amphitheater. And the night before in Fresno, I lost my voice, and so I just had to do those 4 shows, but I never had any trouble after that. Rough.
You said once that the true heritage of rock and roll is when the garage bands start playing.
Did I say?
Is that where you came from? Well, I mean,
yeah.
when you were someone, you had someone playing, breakdown or something.
Yeah, I mean,
that has to be pretty. I mean, you've been successful for a long time, but still, it has to be pretty amazing.
That's where it's at, really. That's what I'm still doing, is playing in my garage.
Yeah, that's true.
I did. I made the album, and we had the drum kit in the garage. I'm still playing in the garage, and I think that is the way it comes about in America.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's not. It's so cold when you come out here and see, like, you know, the guy get on the phone and 5 musicians show up and they make a record. It's not the same heart as these guys that play in their garage and get a dance to the rec center, and you know, there's nothing like that. Nothing like it.
You know, and I think there's still that quality in your music.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we probably can't stamp it out, but it's there. Yeah, I'm glad it's there. I'm glad we're not too good, you know.
Do you see this new album as anything similar to Down the Torpedoes? Not musically, but in terms of just I mean, the first 2 albums were sort of like stage 1, and Down the Torpedoes maybe like stage 2, and maybe Heart Promises and Long for Dark stage 3. I mean, do you sense any kind of...
Yeah, this is... Well, I don't know. I hadn't thought of it as being like Down the Torpedoes. It's definitely another stage.
Yeah.
I think you're right there. I think the last 2 were stage 3.
Right.
That, but it was, that's been left behind. And now, who knows what stage 5 is. I don't know. But this is a new one. It's very, with real fresh feeling among everybody. I've just been seeing the band again recently, and everybody's real good mood about it. They're real happy with it. They all called me when they heard it, the final thing. They called me today. They're hearing it on the radio, and everyone's real up. Yeah, I think it was worth it. We just you have those moments when you're doing something different, when you think, oh no, I hope someone understands this.
Do you think about that?
At times you do. I mean, on an album that long, you have a lot of time to think about everything. And there'd be times when some of these things were hard to do and they just weren't working, and you'd think this is worth it. Mm-hmm. I always thought, yeah, it is worth it. It's worth it to get it done right. Let's just make this one for ourselves, and then when we can sit down and really enjoy it, then that's the only criteria I know to go by.
Is it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, until I can just like it. If I don't like it, I certainly don't want to try to sell it to somebody. There's not much point in that, and you can't. You know, you're always aware of the commercial aspects of the business, but not that much. I don't think. I don't do things, that way. I can't.
So you wouldn't put drum machines on a song just because the Rhythmics had drum machines on their last record and they had number 3 song or something?
No, because I'm smart enough to know that doesn't have anything to do with it. It's a song.
Right.
I might try to write a song that good. It's songs. It's not drum machines or drummers or sound or anything. Doug Bunn one time told me, he says, you know how you get a great band? You get everybody to play real good. And that made a lot of sense to me. He says, did you ever hear a band playing great that sounded bad anywhere? Over a phone? You don't know. And the truth is when the groove drops in, the sound gets real good.
That's true. That really is true, especially with this type of music.
Yeah, when the groove's there, it allows the space for the sound to be good. A lot of it's just space. If everybody's bashing, the sound sounds small.
True.
But when it's all in a groove and in a pocket, each thing has its place, and then it's easy to go, oh yeah, there's bottom here.
Yeah, right.
Then it's easy.
Right.
So we learned years ago that you don't blame an engineer when it sounds bad. It's because you're not playing good.
Yeah. So I would imagine that the heavy metal stuff and all that kind of music out there wouldn't cater to your taste. I mean, that's
not on the whole, because it's just not very good. I love the power of it and the intensity. There's a lot of good guitar players in it. Overall, though, it's just such a young boy's thing. It's not. I don't see that the lyrics are not very good. The singers on the whole aren't very good, and they're all wearing the same costume. I think if you brought them all in a room, you wouldn't know who was who. And what bothers me is that it's this kind of manufactured Disneyland rebellion. It's like a Mad Magazine rock band to me. I'm too smart for that, unfortunately. Rebels don't dress up like each other. I don't think. But I don't want to sound like I'm knocking the whole thing. I'm not knocking an entire genre of music.
No,
I think it's legitimate. And AC/DC, I love a lot of their songs.
Van Halen.
Yeah, well, Van Halen isn't really a heavy metal band.
No, they're right.
Yeah, I think they're very good, Van Halen. I love to hear Eddie Van Halen play.
Yeah.
And I love their sense of humor and the way they present it. What bothers me is these guys with the clenched fists that have no sense of humor and actually think they're
Right.
tough or something.
Right.
I mean, I'll show them a few rednecks that will kick their ass. That's always posing's always amused me. I mean, you need a little bit of it to. I think that they take a lot of heat for being irreverent. When I think, God, if everyone gets reverent, this is really going to be boring.
Yeah.
But I think it's like I said, it's a young boy's thing. It's like looking for hard rock. I'm tired of the Chipmunks now. I want something tough. Oh yeah, this guy's tough. He dresses like Mr. T. And then they get to be about 16 or 17, and they want to meet a few girls, and then they don't want to look like they're into that. So
Yeah.
it always stays at that level.
Yeah. A couple final questions. I'll let you go.
Okay.
The video.
Yeah. Yeah, I got in a little trouble already for that.
Did you?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, they cut out a few scenes of the cake scene there, and we had to take them out. Why we couldn't eat that cake was beyond me. There's still a few in there. I don't know. It was just one of those things that we were just down to laugh with it, really, just trying to do something amusing on there. I think it gets pretty dull on video land, you know, there's a lot of deep messages being sent to me that I don't even want to know about. You know, if I see one more rock singer walking through like the rubbles of war, I'm just gonna retch. You know, like this is ridiculous. Were you in the army? Of course you weren't in the fucking army. You know? Shut up. And that's like. Well, I don't know. I just want to do something fun and psychedelic and something like the song that was intended. Like each time you hear it, you can hear a little more, and each time you see this, maybe you'll see something you didn't see. And I thought of the cake was a great illusion. And as far as it being violent, I thought, you know, it's if anything, it's a parody of violence because there's no blood, and that I love people are shocked by. Us carving up a cake, you know, it shows what TV can do to your brain. You know, by just setting up the images, you think it's happening, but even when you know it's not happening. So I thought in that sense, you know, it was great. But they're playing it, you know, I saw it a while ago, and it was unedited. I mean, but unedited as far as we did lose a lot of stuff that we shot that just isn't in there.
How many videos have you made before?
Really, that I was conscious of, just one. You know, I made this one for You Got Lucky, that where we were out in the desert. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, like the aviators and stuff. Like wearing the aviator hat, stand thing.
Yeah, Loverboy really copied it to a T, didn't it? Yeah. But it was a real innovative one because it was the first one that had a non-musical beginning, right? That had a tag on the front where, you know, we go through the bit of finding the ghetto blaster in the dirt and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of started a trend toward that. So I was real happy that we got in there first with that. But when we made it, we didn't know what an MTV was. Because it was really at the first days of MTV. I don't think we had it in LA. We didn't know what it was.
Yeah, that's right.
And we were on the road, and all of a sudden, you know, it's not just me being bothered in the street, it's everyone, you know. And it's, how? And it turns out they're all seeing the video over and over. But the other ones we did, there's 4 or 5 more that they play that are just performance things that were usually, they didn't call them videos then. It was like, yeah, we're going to make a film so we don't have to go on Merv Griffin tomorrow. And I'd say, okay, tomorrow we want you to be here and sing Refugee. Okay. And we'd sing it, and they'd play it a few times on the TV shows. They weren't intended to be played over and over, though they do hold up pretty well. But Woman in Love one is one of my favorite ones, which I think the Police copied quite a bit with their Every Breath You Take, you know. Looks a lot the same to me. Same camera guy. But, I mean, it's fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Sure. I'll find something to steal from them.
Right. Are you involved in anything else? Any other productions or any other?
No, I've kind of cleaned my slate. I didn't want to be involved in anything. The band's been involved in a lot of stuff. They've been playing with Bob Dylan and everyone else in town, I think. You know, Ben and the sure. Now, I don't discourage it because there's not much for them to do once their tracks are cut. Besides, me and Mike are there all the time, but there's no reason, you know, for Stan to be sitting around every day of an album. No. So they've all been busy, and it's been real good for the group because you always bring a few ideas back, especially working with the people. They don't hire themselves out for sessions, you know, but they'll work with people they like.
Right.
And so you always come back with some real good ideas. You know, someone will say, oh, well, you know, so-and-so did this, and it made a neat sound, and let's do this. So that kind of stuff, and it's all, you know, I like that we can play with everyone, you know, from the Ramones to Roseanne Cash. You know, that's what I like the most is that, you know, it's just all different sorts of music. From all different, you know, different sorts of pop music, I guess. And that's what I found funny about the people that they choose to work with. That was great. And I haven't done it. I did the record with Dwight Twilley.
Oh, that's right.
That was the only thing I did while I was off. I went down there one night, saw Dwight, and that's about all I've done. But the rest of them have been really busy. And Lone Justice, I wrote a song with Michael for them. It's going to be their single, I think. And so we're looking forward to that coming out. And
would you like to do another duet with Stevie next thing?
maybe someday, I don't know. With Stevie and I sing together so much. I mean, not on records, but just whenever she's around. We're real good, the two. We can sing real good. We're real into that harmony where we can do the Everly Brothers greatest hits
really?
for you. Yeah. But no, right now I'm not interested in singing duets. I get asked, but I've done enough.
Yeah.
I think with Dwight and Stevie and whoever else. There's been enough of that.
So you're just kind of sitting back, seeing how the record's going to do, and just kind of.
Well, no, I'm getting ready to. I'm gonna make another video, and then I'm gonna go on the road in June, the beginning of June. So we'll have to start. Even now, we're starting to get that together. We're starting to plan the staging and all that stuff. And then I guess on a month I'll go and start rehearsing again.
Will it be hard to pull off some of these new tunes live?
Well, we'll see. I don't think so. We'll likely have horns this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. We'll have an augment of people just to shake it up a little bit and do it differently than we have been.
Yeah. So can you kind of just look back at the 6 albums and where you are now, and getting past the broken hands and removed tonsils and things, and just kind of.
Oh, what, just a summation of where we are now? Yeah, I'm glad we're still around. As my first thought is like, if I take in how long that's been and all that, I just go, boy, I'm glad we're still together and still doing it, and this much health anyway. And I'm pretty proud of all the records, I think. None of them make me rich, when I hear them, and I think we haven't always been right. We've been wrong. But I think as rock bands go, we're right in there, I think. Yeah, it's still good to hear it. The nice thing is that you still hear all those records on the radio.
Yeah.
That's I still get a kick out of hearing them on the radio. I heard Breakdown yesterday on the radio. Boy, that was really a pretty good track.
It's a great song
for that long ago, and the way we were doing things then was a lot different.
Yeah.
I think of all the albums, that's probably my favorite one. It's the very first one.
You like that one,
Yeah, I like the songs on that one a lot. So.
And the Torpedoes, do you like it?
Yeah, I like it. I think that I got disinterested with it quicker than everybody else did. I loved it, when I did it, and I still like it. I think it's probably our most accessible album that you can put on and anyone can get it. Yeah. And the others are a little bit denser in some ways. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard it on the compact disc recently. Somebody played me a CD, and I was listening to it. I liked it a lot.
Okay, that's great.
Okay. All right. Well, that was easy.
Good. Magazine. So you use Fender medium pick.
Fender medium picks, and live, no pedals at all, just the Super Beagle. Is that with the P?
B.
B.
That's okay.
No, I didn't put it.
Right, put it there.
And I used a few effects in the studio. I used the Rockman, usually in stereo with an amplifier. I use the harmonizer a lot.
What kind of harmonizer? Studio harmonizer?
Yeah, Lex, whoever makes it.
Eventide?
Eventide, I guess. And sometimes I'd use a roll and chorus but not very often. I usually use the one in the harmonizer.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think if there was anything else. No, that's all the effects I use.
Do you capo your guitar? Do you use capos all
Yeah,
over?
yeah. Sometimes use open tunings.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like open G's or open...
Use all open A, G, and D mostly.
Do you write like that? Do the song?
Sometimes, if it calls for it,
Mm-hmm.
I'd write like that. Michael, really, a lot of the time is playing an open tuning. Don't ask me what, but he, even if I'm not, sometimes he's playing open tuning. We use capos a lot.
You do. I mean, do you spend much time working out guitar parts? I mean, the rhythms that you're going to play and the kind of
Never.
spoken?
Never. I mean, we just do it. I've never really worked on a part or anything.
Really?
No, not unless it was something real specific. If
Yeah.
there was a certain lick we were going to
Right.
play together or
Right.
something,
Right.
we might work it out. Or if I'm really messing up, if the track is, if I can hear that I've got to find another thing to play,
Yeah.
then I'll start working it out.
Yeah.
But I usually just, because see, my part's pretty well set in my head because I've been bashing on it while I was writing it, and so I'm just going to do that. And,
Right. But I mean, your rhythm playing is a big, big part of what the band is about. I mean, it's a,
well, I'm glad to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, because that's what everyone keys off of,
Right.
usually. It's just how I'm playing. A lot of times I would play acoustic on the tracks, stuff like Spike and
Yeah. Right.
a few others, Rebels and stuff.
Yeah.
I would be playing an acoustic guitar.
Do those songs tend to be written on acoustic guitars then?
Yeah, I write almost everything on it. The acoustic and this baby grand piano I have at home. It's hard. I don't know if I've just always written on this, mostly on this old Dove, Gibson Dove.
Yeah.
And working with the electric guitar, maybe I'll use it, but not very much. Because usually I get hung up with sounds. If I've got an electric, I get into the sound is dictating what I'm writing.
Right. And you play keyboards?
Yeah.
How would I know?
Yeah. We're just rapping.
Nothing else to do?
Yeah. Yeah. I play the keyboards sometimes. Synthesizer, OBX, and a DX7, and the grand piano.
Yeah.
No, Ben not played all the organ. I never get a shot at the organ.
Keyboard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, great.
Okay.